So hey from Rabbit Ridge Farms, I'm Angela.
And I'm Alan.
And we are here to share some information. We had a huge, overwhelming response to our original video where we introduced you to Roelof and JP, who are working here on the H2A work visa program from South Africa. Hundreds and hundreds of messages. And so we said we're not hiring. However, we wanted to share the process with you because it is a very interesting process. There are a lot of steps. We're going to share from the employer's perspective, from the employee's perspective, and from our perspective together. So we're going to start with the employer's perspective. So you want to tell a little story about how we even considered hiring H2A work visa employees?
Yes, our son works on a row crop farm in northeast Arkansas, and they have several South African H2A workers up there that we got to meet and know, and it struck us, you know, hey, we battle so much just to have reliable help that will show up every day and wants to and is willing to work. And you know, farming is just not really an 8-hour-a-day job.
Right.
There's something going on all the time. So when we met those young men up there, the one thing that struck us was that they were very respectful. They're very respectful young men, and us having a farm that was so public, you know, so we would do so many public things and bring so many people to the farm. We knew that was going to be a characteristic that we were going to need in our workers, and it really intrigued us with the South African people. So we started checking into getting seasonal help, and Angela can explain a little bit more about what is required of the farm in order to even have H2A workers come in from whatever country to work on your farm. Probably the first thing you need to do, Angela, is explain to what an H2A worker is.
That's exactly right. So it is a 10-month work visa that is strictly for agriculture. Now, the thing is, you have to show that you are a seasonal farm. And most livestock farms would not qualify for that. However, the way we raise our animals, we grow chickens seasonally. So we don't grow chickens certain months of the year. And also in the cold winter months of January and February, we're just feeding animals. So we really cut back on our labor those months, our birthing, our farrowing, all of the, what are the words?
Well, we try to farm in conjunction with Mother Nature. So we want to farrow and birth when Mother Nature would say, hey, it's time for you, you know, to birth. Same thing as with, you know, the wild animals, deer and you know, sheep, whatever. So in the winter months, we just rely on feeding the animals that we have here on the farm and doing general maintenance.
So the seasonal part works beautifully with our farm, and it does not with all livestock farms. It does a lot with row crop farms as well. So it is seasonal work only, maximum 10 months, and they are employed here on the farm. So that's the first thing, is are you a seasonal farm? Second thing is there are quite a few requirements the employer is responsible for. So number one, you are responsible for the cost of their travel. So all of the travel fees, whether it's an airplane ticket, food, those sorts of things, you're responsible for. You're also responsible for the cost of their visa. You are responsible for making sure they have transportation at least once a week in order to buy groceries, buy their necessities, do laundry, those sorts of things. You're required to provide housing. There are a lot of ways to do that, whether it's a place that you own, whether it's a place that you rent, but there are requirements within that housing in order for you to qualify.
And the person who works for the H2A program is going to come to your farm, and they are going to inspect the housing that you are going to be housing your workers in. Now, I think it's also fair to say that South Africans are not the only H2A workers. It could be
a lot of countries.
Any countries that are working in conjunction with the H2A program with the United States. Hey, and listen, these people are paying taxes, and just like any American workers, And really, in the farming industry, they're filling jobs that we're not able to get Americans to fill.
That's right. And then you also have a contract. So you contract them and you guarantee them so much work, and you must fulfill that contract. I really don't feel comfortable speaking as an expert in this, which is why we hired an agency. It is called Agri Placements International in Oklahoma. And we hired them because as the employer, we are filing paperwork with the Department of Labor, with Homeland Security. There is a lot of important paperwork that is really complicated, and I don't want to mess that up. So we hired an agency to help us understand the paperwork process, make sure that we're filing things appropriately. You also have to maintain communication, inquiring for help here within the United States. And so this period of time leading up to the employees getting here, and even afterwards, we have to post our jobs for people to have the opportunity here in America to apply for those jobs. We didn't have any takers, but you do have to allow that position to still be available for employees here in the United States. They help us with all of the requirements, all of the paperwork. It is for a fee, but in my opinion, it's very well worth it. And even though we will be going into our second year, we will still use that agri placement in Oklahoma in order to take care of the business side for us, because it's just something that, to me, it's too important. I don't want to risk messing it up.
And we can drop some contact info in the comments of this video.
Definitely. Now, the next question is, how do you connect with someone? Well, this past year, we did hire a recruiter, so Agri Placement, they were sent to me per the recommendation of our son's employer. Then Agri Placement then sent a list of recruiters that they recommended. And so we went with their number one recommendation, and there are all kinds of recruiters out there. And they're the ones that review your contract, what type of work the employees will be doing, and then they will try to find a match based on the resumes that they have with work experience. So anything else you want to say about that part?
Well, once that we had received resumes and had kind of narrowed it down to the people that we felt like would fit our program, then we had phone interviews with them. So we had phone interviews with JP and Ruloff and other candidates for the job. And you can just get a better feel for somebody by talking to them.
Absolutely.
Even if it's on the phone, even if you're not able to look at them face to face. But we had the opportunity, we could have Skyped with them or whatever.
Right.
And hearing their requirements that they possess in order to do a good job here at the farm, and trying to learn something about their character.
That's right. And that's probably one of the most challenging parts of this, is you are committing to a relationship with someone for a year. Now, obviously, there are occasions where letting someone go would be appropriate, but it's extreme, obviously. So for the most part, you are committing to a relationship with this person for, not for a year, but for the 10-month contract. And that's a lot when you've never met them in person, you've never shook their hand, you never looked them in the eye. So it's a lot of trust. It's also a lot of trust on their part. They're leaving their country and coming across the world, or from wherever they live, and choosing to work in a location and a job that they aren't familiar with either. So that is probably one of the parts that was a little bit uncomfortable for us in the beginning. Other challenges are coordination. You do have to coordinate with a lot of government agencies, both here in the United States as well as another country. That's tricky, and you need to be ahead of schedule more than not. So that was a big lesson for us, for both us and for our employees, that our time frame doesn't work with a government agency's time frame.
Especially when a government agency that's overseas, and they work at a different time, different speed probably than what we wanted it to go.
And this is becoming a more popular program, so they're also getting overwhelmed, as with a lot of government agencies, and so it delayed their arrival, which they're wanting to get started working, because the purpose of these H2A workers coming is to make a living and to make money. So obviously the sooner they can start, the better it is for all of us involved. So that was a bit of a challenge. Any other challenges you can think of?
But one thing I would recommend when you get to the interview process, and everybody can interview workers however they want, but you need to remember that these people, their family is not just down the road. They are literally packing their bags and leaving everybody that they love in a country that is half a world away. So I would make sure that when you visited with a person that you were interested in bringing here to work, is that they were capable of doing that, because that's really a big step, is to leave all your loved ones and come to the United States to work. Good fit for us, because we realize that, and we want to treat everybody, no matter who they are or where they're from, like family. So bringing those guys here was a big step, not only for us, but it was for them too, and you have to acknowledge that.
Yes, it's not in theory, I'm going to make money, it's 10 months, it's not a big deal, but in reality, when you leave everything you know and you're comfortable with behind to a completely different world in all ways, it's a lot. So one of the challenges being patient. We're excited to have an extra set of hands and get going and get work done, but there is a time period of transition that you need to recognize and be sensitive to for both parts.
And hopefully you have the right people that you can bring to work on your farm, that we can get that training period and transition period behind us on the first year, and we have the type of people and the quality of people that we can bring back year after year to help us.
That's right. So that's the great benefit is for us is we have connected with two people that are fantastic, and we hope that they will return as often as they want. The benefit for you is being able to have reliable help here on this farm. Like you said, we're not a 9 to 5, 5-day-a-week operation. We are every day, 7 days a week, frankly 24/7 at some periods of time when we're raising chickens. And so to have folks that are physically here, we had some great help before, but we did not have anybody here on site other than Alan. So to have folks who can put eyes on the animals and check on things on a regular basis, especially during tricky times like stormy nights or hot weather or those sorts of things, I think has been extremely beneficial for you.
Yeah, I can honestly say that it's the first time in the farming career, because it is a 24/7 job, that I've had some relief being able to leave the farm. Quite frankly, whenever we had chickens prior to the H2A workers coming here, I went months without leaving the farm.
That's right.
Because situations change so rapidly with chickens on pasture that it's just really hard to get away. And having people that are here to help with that process was very important. And in our situation, we have people that are very committed to being a part of a team and being part of the process of trying to work together to create a cohesive plan.
That's right. I think another challenge that you need to be aware of is that there is a period of time for teaching. And so you may not be a natural teacher, but you need to know that teaching is going to be a process that you need to become comfortable with and patient about. You have had to spend quite a bit of time teaching new processes. Even one night we had a lesson on standard versus metric measurement. That's a big, we do some construction projects here because we're building things here on the farm. And so some of those things you may not think about. You need to be patient and realize that part of our job here is not just to give them a job, but to teach them properly how to do the job.
That's right.
Anything else you can think of?
No. I think we pretty much summed it all up. I mean, as generally and as broad as what we possibly can. I think everybody has different requirements and different needs on their farms, and farming needs and requirements are so different based on the individual farm.
That's right. So this is very general, meant to be very general. There are a lot of resources out there that can help you. There are a lot of agencies that can help you. We just wanted to share a little bit of the behind the scenes for our experience.
That's right.
All right. If you want to learn more about our farm, I suggest that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and always follow us on our social media channels on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching.
See ya.